Beth Wheeler shows me how her novel combination of glass fusion and engraving produces a panel featuring her signature botanical structure, a Banksia cone.
I've never worked this way before.
How did you come upon the method? If you'd done it before, what drew you to the technique?
I've started working in, this is float glass, so same as window glass. And I've been exploring that, working with the students at Melbourne Poly as well. So I usually use sheet glass that's coloured, but pairing it back to the clear transparent glass. And it's really nice to work with this thickness of glass. And so I cut out blanks and fused them onto one sheet in what's called a contour fuse. So each piece gets hot enough to fuse to the piece underneath and become one together. And then this top profile just really nicely smooths over or bevels over. And then looking through this side, you get these really beautiful profile lines that catch the light.
Yeah.
And then what I did was use the engraving burrs and carved into them. And I've put it back in the kiln, use a bit of a brush, and gotten it just hot enough to fire polish. So the engraving has gotten just hot enough to melt over and become glossy. And I held it back a bit from becoming totally glossy because I wanted to keep this texture, this rough texture from the rough diamond. And you can see how it's pushed out a bit there with the heat.
Yeah, fascinating. So many, like the choosing the right temperature and the right material and decisions all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of decisions all the time. And that's the other interesting thing about glass, like a lot of the materials and techniques and tools haven't changed for thousands of years. So they're all, really quite simple.
And so the difference is your imagination that points them in a different direction somehow. But as you say, essentially the same methods.
Yeah.
But just exploiting them differently.
For the show that Donna's curating, she's having a glass house made, and there is 6 different windows within that, and each one is made up of a different composition. So this will go into one, and each one of these are different panels. So I think there'll be textured glass, float glass in each of these, and maybe the one with the engraved leaves along here. This is a template of one of the panels or windows, and they'll have different compositions.
Obvious question is, what drew you to working with glass?
I'm always interested in glass as a material, or attracted to it, I guess, since I was a child. I think it's just the transparency and the way it conducts light. The idea of working with a material that comes from the earth as well, and starts off so, I guess, raw and opalescent, and then can become something so transparent. It's something that's quite magical. So another reason why I like working in glass, that we kind of live in vitreous environments, like with so much glass surrounding us. What you're talking from the microscope to your mobile phone to everything in your life, communications and everything. It's interesting, but most people just see it, glass as something they drink out of.
Where do you get your ideas from?
These are Banksia leaves, and I've made a panel up here that has a Banksia cone that's carved out of glass. And I've been working with the Banksia for quite a couple of years, and a continuous body of work that ranges from glass and glass casting to paperworks as well. And I like working with that because I think it's such a beautiful object in itself. So like prehistoric looking and so unusual. And I think it has a really great metaphor for survival in that the way it reproduces is after fire the seed pods open up and then their seeds are released, so it can adapt to all these different environments, which I think is a really nice metaphor for how we need to live today, adapt our way of living to reduce our environmental footprints.
How did you get to know Donna?
Just through working in glass. I used to work at Monash University in the glass department and also work at Kira Galleries, which was a commercial gallery at Fed Square, glass gallery. And she was just involved in lots of different things and starting GlaasInc. So just met her through the glass community. And she's always been a great supporter of me, and now I'm teaching there as well.
How many students are there at the moment, do you know?
So in the new Cert 3, I think they've got 16 at the moment. So yeah, it's going really well. There's a lot of interest in it.
Great, yeah.
So I'm just going to dab a little bit of UV glue on each corner, and then tape it. It's going to be inset into the window, so hopefully you can't see anything.
You must enjoy working with materials and glues and all sorts of things to achieve what you want.
Yeah, I mean, glass is a really interesting material in that it's quite scientific, to know how, because I work a lot in the kiln. It's a little bit like ceramics. You're always learning. It's always teaching you something new. You can pop it in the kiln and predict what you're going to get when you open the kiln, but then every now and then it'll be something totally different, and it can be a great, interesting mistake, or it can be, something that ruins your whole kiln.
So there's an element of risk involved, which you have to embrace.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the material as well. Has those sort of material paradoxes where it's fragile but it's strong. Opaque and transparent.
Yeah.
All those different things. Yeah, so it can definitely be heartbreaking to use as a material.
One of the things that's fascinated me doing this project, doing this filming and meeting people, is the incredible contrast between the beautiful, delicate, finished products and some of the sheer hard work and temperatures and heat and, that goes into making it, the behind-the-scenes thing that people don't really realise. It's quite amazing. I like your website too, 1,000 Degrees.
1,000 Degrees, I did choose the name because it sounds really good, but it's sort of a temperature that doesn't really mean anything in the techniques that I use. Just sort of disappointing to tell people, but
What temperatures do you work at?
So if I'm kiln forming or fusing and slumping, maximum, depends on the type of glass, but probably not over 820. And then I do a fair bit of casting, lost wax casting, things like that. Go up to maybe, depends again on the glass, maybe 860 max. So a long way off 1,000 Degrees. Because I want to seal it so that the leaves can't move because they're just sitting in there. But also seal it so that when I'm engraving over the top, I'm not going to get any water or gunk inside there.
How would you do the engraving? Tell me about that technique.
So I use a handheld, like a rotary tool, Dremel tool, and use diamond sintered burrs and use them to with water to carve into the glass.
Right,
To follow
okay.
the lines. Which I can show you in this piece that's coming out of the kiln. That's all been fused and then engraved and carved into.
Right, great.